All right, great. Welcome to the third training session of the first day of the Open Security Summit 2020 training sessions. So we have some really exciting session tonight led by Mark. And what I want to do is just want to quickly say welcome to everybody and just quickly go through some of the core concepts and ideas of the summit. So first of all, what we should expect is a lot of energy, a lot of knowledge sharing, a lot of learning. We try to create all these practitioner-led driven sessions. And I kind of want to stress that we can still create sessions. We can still, increase the kind of activity that we create. This is all about, generating energy and getting, people to participate and to learn on what we do. So we expect you to participate, to care deeply and share about what you're doing. But again, of course, we want everybody to have a lot of mutual respect and, and think about that, this is a multicultural, multilingual, multi-geography, multi-dispersed sort of community. So, please, have objective distance on the comments. Nobody's right. Everybody has an opinion, right? Be respectful, but also challenge, right? We should be challenging each other. We should be really sort of focus on, trying to find solutions and trying to collaborate and be as productive as we can. So the whole thing about the summit is openness. So every session is recorded. We're going to publish it all. We might do some live streaming a bit later on. So if you don't want to be identified, take precautions, don't activate your video, use NA as your name, but also we try to, like we just talked about, before the session, everything Create a Summit should be released under Creative Commons license or open source, right? So the idea is to create this body of knowledge, this body of materials that actually helps, all of us. And a lot of times the frustration is that we do a lot of these things in our day job, but we can't share because it's kind of locked down in some proprietary or very specific to a company, where this allows us the opportunity to actually collaborate in an open environment and create materials that we can then share. Like, for example, the cards that we're going to create tonight. I think that's a great example of a great asset that we're going to do. The other thing that's very important is respect, right? Now, we're all here to collaborate. It's very important that, we're chosen as a community that, nobody should be discriminated or harassed, based on, the race, gender, religious appearance, experience, or anything else. And we all expect you to have a level of professionalism, right? So, and again, if you feel any kind of abusive behavior, please ping one of the organizers, because, we take this very, very seriously. And then finally, just share your views, right? Reach out, tweet, join our Slack. There's a link to the Slack invite. If you're not on Slack, we highly welcome you to have, because that's where a lot of the conversations happen. And please reach out to your network. Invite. I really want us to have the most diverse and inclusive kind of community. So please reach out to your community, bring them to the next sessions, come up with new sessions that we can do. And there's a whole team here, designed to help you to do that and to make that happen. And finally, learn. Right. That's what we're here for. So, Mark, over to you. You can now take it from here.
All right. Thank you. Let's see, you're going to have to stop sharing your screen.
Yep.
And then Bjorn, I did get your message. Thank you. Bjorn says he's going to have to step out for a bit, but that's okay. Chris Roberts, good to see you, bud.
Yeah, you too.
Oh,
how's it going?
it's the hacker.
Damn hackers.
All right. Eliza May is here, who you know, Chris.
Yeah.
There we go. So
Cool.
We're just getting started here. So thank you for the introduction. It's an exciting proposition, especially this is the first time anybody has seen the card decks. This is the first time in public that we've looked at these. So it should be interesting. I'm looking for responses. I'm looking for feedback on things like this. Let me get my slide deck up and we will be able to go. So I'm going to go full screen on this, and everybody just let me know that you can see this full screen. Is that okay? All right. So what we've got is something called the Adversary trading card set. And the idea behind this came about because I was at a session with Lockheed Martin, Robin Yemen from Lockheed Martin, and they had created a set of, it almost looked like Monopoly cards. And they called them adversary personas. And what they did, they literally created posters and hang them on the wall at Lockheed Martin. And so they defined the attributes of each of the type of people that are trying to break into their system. And I thought, man, this is a very, very cool idea. So what I thought I'd do is put it out to the community. So I contacted some of my good friends that I know would like to participate. You can see their names there. Eliza's here, Chris is here, Brian Reed's on the way, Vanessa and Kurt and Bjorn. Bjorn's here too. So they immediately jumped in the pool and said, yeah, I'll create a couple personas for you. And that's where the initial personas came from. Most of you from OWASP know who I am, but I will do a quick one just to tell you the things that I'm working on. I am the co-founder of All Day DevOps, which is the largest DevOps conference in the world. We had 40,000 people registered live online last year. We're expecting hopefully more than that for our 5th anniversary this year on November 12th. That's a plug, November 12th for All Day DevOps. Last year I had, I think, 8 sessions from OWASP in All Day DevOps. I think Bjorn, you were there. I know Simon always comes for Zap. And we had a couple more, which it really makes it for a nice day there. That's a 24-hour conference, live online, 180 sessions. I'm also the editor-in-chief of the LinkedIn DevOps group now with 80,000 members. So if you'd like to talk DevOps, it's a great place to be. I'm the founder of DevSecOps Days, global around the world. And I'm the Senior Storyteller at Sonatype. Some of you know me from that, from the Nexus projects and things that are going on there. So that's my background. The Senior Storyteller part is important because that's where I can just blather about my ideas. And that's my job, to blather about ideas and get different ideas, which is kind of cool. The other person that's here with us today, if you can see, it's Fred there. If you scroll up and down the people, there's Fred, thank you. He actually has something that we were able to utilize to create the actual characters in the deck here. And so we're going to go through his platform today too and have you create characters for the personas you're about to create. So it should be a good evening here. So this is the first set of cards. I've got one of each to show you so you can see them blown up. But in general, the idea of phase 1 of the card creation is it's not a game. It's not something that we're going to print yet. Phase 1 is let's get the personas out there. Let's define for the community what adversaries look like. What are their motivations? What tools are they using? What are the techniques that they're using? So that each of these cards can literally be used to look and say, okay, this is the type of adversary we're against right now. I think I'm excited about the possibility of it. So, see, I was promoting it all week in LinkedIn, so the link is still there. So that's cool. Let's see here. So the first one, Vanessa's not here. Chris, I'm wondering if you could kind of help me with this. When we're looking at an advanced persistent threat, can you kind of run through the methods and the tools and the motivation, see if you agree with those?
Yeah, I mean, the phishing attacks typically is a fairly easy way in. I mean, that's the nice thing about it. Normally, it's just you want to get somebody to click on shit. I mean, it's as simple as that. Right. Command and control tactics are very heavy. And, you know, I mean, if you have to go the APT route, which, let's face it, most of us don't, but if you go the APT route, typically you don't want to be the ones with the hands on the keyboards. You typically look at a remote control architecture that at least does the initial looks, some of the other architectural kind of observations, then brings it back to a set of CNCs. It's rinsed, washed, and anything useful is then dropped out to maybe an operator to take a look at. VPN hijacking is one. I'm actually just came off of a shadow AD architecture attack that we're looking at using as well. Tools, yeah, email attachments and malware. It works. Targets is a tough one because I just did a podcast when we talked about, you know, why is my small to medium business going to be hacked by a nation state? Because, you know, we use it for, I would probably update that one a little bit, because if you think about it, any company, any organization, it is going to be used as a stepping stone, as a pivot point from an APT type of an architecture. If I can't get into the front door of NSA, I'm going to come in through their third parties. I'm going to come in through all of their friends, families, and everywhere else.
Cool. Motivation. Yeah.
Disruption, nation state, economic gain. The other one I would put on there, probably in a language that we want to, given the fact we're coming into an election year, disinformation. and disinformation, counterintelligence, whatever you want to call it.
Nice.
Yeah, that's a big
And
one.
that's one of the things I want everybody to jump in on too. Not that we need a big open discussion on it, but if you see something that's critical that's missing, we'd love to hear about it. Intelligence, you have to have it to spell it, right? There we go.
Yeah.
Counterintelligence. Excellent. So we have now updated this card on the fly. Very cool. Thank you,
Sweet.
Chris.
No problem.
What do you guys think?
On the tools for these more advanced attackers, right? They attacking the sort of the software supply chain is also starting to be very common.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, you're a code at that point. To your point, absolutely. I mean, absolutely, you're typically down at memory level attacks, code level. I mean, you're down in the weeds, assembler layer, all of the other fun stuff that's out there.
But even compromising the repositories, right? So I'm thinking that
Yeah,
look at, one of the most effective ways to get malware code in companies these days is to actually hit their, the software supply chain, right? You compromise an end package, right? Or
Right, but Dennis, what tool would do that?
at that point, you are looking at like IDA Pro and disassemblers.
Well, I was thinking more of hitting like the repositories like NPM, more of like the distribution big channels.
Yeah, but you're going to have to, at some point in time, you're going to have to look at the code, adjust the code, and try and post it back up there.
Right.
So, I mean, that compilers, decompilers. Yeah, so compilers and decompilers. Because you're right. If you're looking at code, I mean, I guess, maybe source code libraries. There we go. That's a good way to put it. Source code libraries.
Okay.
IDA Pro, that brings me back memories.
Still so useful.
All right, great, thanks. So that's how we can update the cards. I love it like that. Let me get, did Brian read? Did you show up yet?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, Brian, you're good. Can you look at this?
Good.
This is Brian Reed from Now Secure. He does mobile security. So he got me about 3 adversaries for mobile. Brian, you want to walk through the attributes of the Fast Food Ninja?
Sure. So we put together a couple of these. The Fast Food Ninja actually came out of the classic scenario of sort of the high school kid, the college kid who's kind of learned to hack on their own and likes hanging out in food courts or your favorite Starbucks, putting up pineapples and otherwise harvesting people and generally driving them nuts. And so generally this is not about like a nation state adversary or something else. This is about the actual experience of having fun, kind of destroying people's experience, as it were. So, however they tend to do it, a lot of times it will start by doing a little bit of reverse engineering of a traditional app someone might use, basically create a fake clone of it, use some Wi-Fi hacking tools and a VPN kit to try to reroute an app, either current app traffic or get people to a fake web page, download basically their version of a malicious app. And then get them to use it, and it's more often than not it's mischiefy type in its behavior. There are an amazing number of unpatched old, especially Android devices in the marketplace. Some people hate upgrading iOS as well, or maybe they've jailbroken their device, and so a lot of times malicious activity becomes easier when people have older versions of OSs, or they have very old and stale apps that haven't been updated over an extended period of time, and the apps themselves remain unpatched. So they'll create little games, or they'll create like a photo app or clone something that's already known and misspell the app name, and then get them to download something onto the device, or intercept their traffic through a known vulnerable app and just basically cause mischief.
Brian,
So
when you and I first talked about this one, I thought it was interesting because we had just started the pandemic. And we realized that the script kiddies are now indoors, but in New York City, if they're in a building that's got 150 different Wi-Fis, they've got access to the whole building.
Yeah, you get the buildings, you also get schools, you get college campuses. There were 1 or 2 reports of a little malicious activity on campus as well. And obviously a lot of those kids are home now, but back when college was in. And so there's lots of interesting different ways for them to kind of exploit it. You also get it in like apartment complexes, like you said, or other places of high density. as well. And the good news is generally it's just kind of mischief. It's not, you know, retail theft or something more malicious, but these guys, you know, can become more malicious or more damaging depending over time. There is a fair amount of credential harvesting that goes on too. So they may try to figure out, they get your login to something and then they guess that you use the same login on everything else. And then they go in and they do an account takeover on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, or something else like that. Right. And now they're using your credentials to maybe hurt you more by jumping to another location.
The thing too, Brian, is I've known people on airplanes that can do this so that they're reading people's email along. I mean, you got 6 hours on a plane. What are you going to do?
Well, the planes are actually getting better with their Wi-Fi. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Chris.
Planes might be, but that doesn't stop me running a pineapple.
There you go. Exactly right. Yeah. So it's, you know, and they don't have to be super sophisticated to do a decent job at this. So,
yeah.
you know, so that basically enables, you know, this kind of scenario to occur. And it, you know, the more people trust public Wi-Fis that we know are bad, most of us security practitioners will stay away from that. But, you know, everyone's trying to save bandwidth. So we have this problem where, especially outside the US, when people are paying for bandwidth, they're more inclined to try to use the Wi-Fi. But any of us who are professionals or stay off any public Wi-Fi ever, you know, use your direct carrier connection for security reasons and make sure you're using a real VPN. Well, you know, the average consumer kid or adult who's worried about their mobile costs and don't understand how to set up a VPN can get taken advantage of pretty easily here.
Yeah. You know, as you guys are talking, I'm really glad that this session is being recorded because it's very educational. Because you can get so much more depth in the conversation than we can just by putting the basic attributes out. It's like looking at a baseball card versus going to a baseball game. All we can get you is stats here. You're not going to be able to see the game. But thank you, Brian, for that. Let's see here. I've got, Brian, I'm going to skip this one and come back to you, if you're okay.
Yeah, that's all right. I'm going to put you on mute.
All right. And then Chris, I'm trying to get to, hold on, Eliza May, I wanted you to jump in here for Robin Flood and talk through where this came from and what you got.
If I'm completely honest, I started with the name. I thought the name would be the best name. So yeah, it's just based around hacktivists, not necessarily anything to do with APTs. I've worked in environments before where they've had to, especially applicable to things like retail, where they have to be really careful about things like animal testing on a certain face cream or the ingredients of a lipstick, because if the ingredients list or if the way that it's produced is open knowledge, it can lead to hacktivism attacks, and a lot of that was around DDoSes against a website, the main e-commerce website. So it's a really common thing that you would see in retail. So yeah, it's just about, you know, Robin Flood, as in Robin Hood, took from the rich, gave to the poor. And this is sort of a modern day, what hacktivists like to feel that they are, whether you agree with that or not. Yeah, nothing, you know, nothing particularly advanced about that one at all. Not particularly stealthy attacks, very, very noisy, and not particularly advanced either.
All right, cool. Comments, anybody?
I love the fact Loic's in there. That just makes me so freaking happy.
Good. I'm glad someone appreciates it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Never used it myself, though.
Oh, I have. Might have contributed to it as well.
Oh, nice.
Kurt Yanko, are you here? Okay, we'll come back to Kurt. Next one. Chris, so you got one more here for Shadow Me you came up with. I think it was one of the first ones you submitted.
Yeah, I think I put a bunch with something me's in there and a bunch of them, yeah. Opportunistic insider threat, let's have a look. Yeah, piggyback ghosting, shoulder surfing, confidence social, quick thinking. I like that because it's not technical. I think I did this one deliberately not technical. Insecure facilities, unlock side doors. I would go with just opportunistic. So on the targets, I would also add just opportunistic. Because I mean, that could be physical. That could be. I mean, it's physical. It's everything from the physical. So electronic, paper, whiteboards, all of those things.
Good. Huh.
Yeah. Motivation. I would actually also kind of piggyback off some of the Eliza May stuff, quite honestly, as well, because for good or for bad, I've known a few folks that have been inside companies that don't necessarily agree with their ethics and their morals and how they change, and have decided to change it from the inside, legitimately or otherwise.
Okay, excellent. Thank you.
No problem.
Yeah,
Brian?
you add that to the motivation, right? So
What's
if you
that?
add the motivation, and the motivation was either, you know, would you say revenge on that one? Because I was going to mention revenge, but it was always, you know, moral, right?
Change. I would go with change. I would use the word change, either social, moral, or economic change. Something along those lines. Revenge is a tough one. I try to avoid too much on the negative words, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right.
Thank you. Yeah.
There we go. All right. Next one. This is a fun one here. We actually, Frederick actually did a custom character for this one, Brian. You want to run through this one and talk about who the crazy cat lady is?
Yeah, so crazy cat lady. She was a lot of fun. We were actually talking about this, and one of my security researchers talked about he's actually met and knows a crazy cat lady. And no offense to anyone who's into cats, but the whole kind of idea was that this is kind of the classic impersonation, right? So this is around building a real fake app to impersonate something else. For a lot of these people, they spend a lot of time doing this. They're reveling in analyzing existing commercial apps and finding one that's maybe not a tier 1 app, but kind of a popular app. So like, how can I rip off a TikTok or something else? A lot of these apps will be like something related to a photo app. We've all heard this sort of flashlight story. People like photo manipulation or some other information sharing or searching type of things. And so, again, like the other one, knowing that there's a lot of old phones running around there, you see a lot of this stuff running around, especially in the secondary app stores where, people are using jailbroken and rooted devices or what have you. And but this one is not just about a little malicious food court. This is about actually stealing information. And so in that, they're trying to get them to create an account, log into an account. There's a lot of credential harvesting that goes on. Again, the comment I made before. So they'll create the fake app. They'll get you to log into it. They're going to guess that that's the same user ID and password you use on other systems. So they'll go try it on other systems. Depending on your operating system, iOS or Android, if it's an Android app, it's highly likely they're scraping data off of your device while that app is running. So they'll lift the app manifest, so they'll know what other mobile applications you have on your device. They might notice you've got, say, a Citigroup or a Bank of America or a Wells Fargo app, and they may go try the same credentials you used when you created an account in their app to go log into one of those other commercial applications, and boom, they're in. So part of this has to do with we all need to have good password hygiene. Part of this has to do with creating apps that look interesting and or creating apps that are very close clones or fraudulent clones of popular commercial apps that people just will download and try to use.
I like this one when I first saw it, Brian, because what it does is it really makes you start to think about all the crap that's in the download stores, and anybody can put something up. I mean, it's this is a good one. Any comments on this from anybody? Okay, cool, nice one. Thank you, Brian.
Thanks, sir.
Okay, let's see, the social engineer. There's one more. Where's Kurt? There, bad actor. There you go. Evil DevOps. I'll stick up for Kurt because I don't think that he's in here yet. Frederick, you're smiling at that one. You like that one?
I love it. Yeah, looks great.
So what we're talking about is one of the things that we notice a lot is that the adversaries are now moving much, much faster than the enterprises. And that by the time the enterprises get word that something's out, the adversaries already have the tools in place. They've got the automation in place. They got everything they need to automatically attack systems that are using the vulnerable components that they found. So one of the things that's happened since the open source movement became so prevalent is that it used to be people were attacking single systems. Now what we want to realize is that people are attacking components within those systems, and if they know a framework or components used massively across the enterprise, then they've got a whole bunch of attack vectors into different enterprises. So the idea is that the adversaries take, by the time something is released as a vulnerability notification, it takes an average 3 days or less for the adversaries to take advantage of that. Whereas right now we found through research, it's an average of 45 days for the enterprise to respond to this. So think about that. Your adversaries have a 40-day head start on you if you're not on top of this stuff. I think that's a really important, and that's what this card really draws out. I'm sorry Kurt's not here, but everybody like what they see here?
Could you not sort of say that more in, say, like consolidate what you just said, but in tools? Like, because I know I'm not sure, I'm not big on DevOps. Would like Jenkins, for example, be a tool that you'd use in an attack in that way?
I don't think so. I think we're really talking about adversary tools, not the tools in the supply chain itself. However, Eliza May, what has come visible in the last week is somebody did an exploit against, let's see, Alexis, you're here, right? Are you still here?
My Zoom's cutting in and out, but yes, I'm here.
That's okay. Derek put up something this morning that there is something, what repository was attacked, and what they did is they put the virus on the developer tools itself. So
Oh yes, it was Octopus.
Octopus, right. And so what had happened is now the developers are using a tool, and every time they create a build from that tool, then it actually spreads it to that new piece, that new tool that they created. So it's just, it's the old worm kind of thing, which is very, very interesting. So there's all kinds of things
Literally insecurity by design. Put something like that on there, because I mean, from my perspective, great card, but I don't know, there's not enough on there. It's not clear.
It seems generic.
Maybe I'm being silly, maybe I'm being thick, but I if you hadn't have explained, I get from the title evil DevOps, but if this is supposed to be educational, if you hadn't have explained what the card was about, I wouldn't have known just looking.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. I'll tell Kurt then, because I know that's what he's trying to get to. Oh, that's Jonathan trying to get in again. I'm not sure why he's not getting in. All right, cool. Thank you. Let's see, did I have another one? Make sure. This one, social engineering. Chris, if you want to take one more, if you've got the bandwidth to take one more.
I recognize this one too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's simple, as it says, social engineering. So, I mean, this honestly is probably an homage to, you know, all of us, Chris Hagnati, myself, Chris, all the Chris's, Nickerson as well, let's be perfectly honest. And as it says, methods is open source intelligence gathering. Now, here's my question for all of us. If our focus for this is our community, then we can leave OSINT. But if our focus is to actually educate a lot of other people, we might actually need to start spelling some of this out. So it's worthwhile. I've just noticed I've got OSINT DNS, and a lot of us speak our own language. We might want something in there for just something to think about. But it says OSINT, spoof emails, drop documents, links. The tools, obviously, as it says, email, DNS names, fear of account lockout. That's a tough one because that was a very specific one. I would probably put something else out there as opposed to fear account for lockout. It's the it's engagement. Tools really is engagement. It's everything.
Right. You want to say social engagement?
No, here, give me a second. I've actually got something. I've got a better way of explaining it.
Okay.
I'm in the middle of doing some stuff for the Wiser crew where we are talking about basically hacking grandmother. And so we talk about the different scenarios and the different ways of literally hacking grandmother. and we have, you know, it's eliciting a response. So whatever term we want to use in there for eliciting a response, you have like happy grandma, worried grandma, or law-abiding grandma, and eliciting a response on either one of those will then trigger a different set of scenarios.
Mm-hmm.
So the tools are curiosity. I think, you know, in some ways, or is a tool the end user? I mean, at the end of the day, your tool is an end user. I don't know. Let me noodle on that one.
That's an interesting one.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's what it is. I mean, my
Yeah.
tool for social engineering is you. So maybe the tool is the end user.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually you. I like that.
Or emotional manipulation too.
Thank you. God, whoever just said that, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Emotional manipulation.
Yeah, I think that's a beautiful way of putting it.
And
Ultimately, the social engineer's only tool is you.
Yeah. I would get rid of DNS names.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, I would ditch that one. All right, targeting everybody.
Yeah.
Motivation, money. I mean, there's everything. Access to company files, money, extortion.
Good, good, good.
Yeah. I mean, definitely. I had a good friend of mine that got the, hey, we captured you watching pornography and we're going to release it. And he sent one. I actually helped him craft a message back saying, I'm really glad that you are interested in my, you know, in my male appendages. I appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed it. I look forward to seeing it on YouTube.
Maybe
beautiful.
one of the tools would be fear then. Or does that come under emotional manipulation?
I think it comes under emotional manipulation. Because I mean, that's when you elicit a happy emotion, a fearful emotion, or that law-abiding, like, oh shit, I screwed something up. We can mess around with some other ones, but yeah, that works. That's cool.
All right.
Does this only cover the social, like the digital social engineer, or is there one that actually covers social engineering in general?
Who was speaking on that?
Wallaby Curtis.
Hey, Wallaby, how are you? You know what? You're going to be able to answer your own question because you are going to create a card within the next half hour. And you can put the attributes that you're thinking about in and actually have a card like this. Does that help?
Awesome. Sweet.
Okay, great. All right, thank you. Let's see, we did Shadow Me, Evil DevOps, Robin Flood, Crypto Miner. Kurt, I wish you were here. Anyway, everybody I think knows pretty much the crypto miner story. However, we do have a second crypto miner that was created by Eliza May. You back with us, Eliza May?
Yeah, sorry, I cut out for a bit. I didn't mean to. I didn't actually realize that you already had a crypto miner when I created this.
That's why I spelled it like this.
Okay. Yeah, so sorry to the guy that did the original one.
Okay.
Yeah, so so this one's all about it's quite common to see in enterprise environments, like resource hijacking in various different ways. Tends to be CPU usage. It's quite common.
Mm-hmm.
Just for the literal purpose of mining cryptocurrencies. So, it's malicious in the fact that it takes the company's resources and it, adds up and costs money. But there's nothing, there's high level, there's not particularly a cost to life or anything like that. So, again, it's one of the sort of lesser technical ones, really.
I think this is an interesting one because there was a situation, maybe it was 7 years ago, where somebody was doing something with one of the major airlines. He worked for the airlines and he had actually utilized the resources of the airline and actually brought it to a halt. Anybody remember that one?
No, I don't remember that. What was it called? Like, what airline was it? Maybe I remember.
I think it was out of Denver somewhere, I think.
Or it was, Frontier.
Frontier. I mean, he was running some kind was he trying to find the biggest prime number or something, Chris? It was something absurd.
like that. Yeah, it was awesome. Yeah.
And so the point of sale systems up front just started coming to a crawl. Fantastic.
If we have two crypto miners now, maybe one could be one that tries to get the crypto miner onto your computer, and the other one might be, I don't know, the student who abuses his entire university's computing power for
that would be a
their
nice
stuff.
one. I'll tell you the one that would be nice too, Bjorn, is how do you hijack a crypto wallet? I mean, how do you? That's one of the things that we're going to need a card on too.
The one to add here is also AWS or cloud, because a lot of the resources, the tools they use today is actually cloud providers.
And so the elasticity of that cloud,
Absolutely.
wonderful, wonderful. That's the Eliza May. Sorry to pick on you, but you were busy. Who's nonchalant Norris?
Okay, nonchalant Norris is just the grey everyman in the background, or you know, you every really nice sounding motorbike in the back there, or like you know, you every woman. Yeah. So this is the person that, despite the training or none, still clicks on all the links. They still respond to the invoices. That when a security professional looks at the original email, they go, "What the fuck? It's all spelt wrong," and it's, you know, crap. You know, they aren't malicious by any means. They aren't a insider threat in the sense that they're a you know, begrudged employee. They're simply just kind of uneducated on cybersecurity, have no interest in cybersecurity, and it's not a thought at all in their mind. And as a result of that lack of awareness, they do malicious things. They're taken advantage of by the social engineering attacks that we've spoken about previously. So you know, very susceptible to drive-by downloads and not reporting it. And their main motivations are cutting corners, speed at work, and simple uneducation. Maybe simple uneducation is not a motivation, actually.
Yeah, let's take that one out. That's not a motivation. You know what? I like yours because they're not technical. It actually goes to the everyman. I like it that way. I like it.
Well, I thought the point of them, I mean, I didn't really know much about them, but I thought the point of them was that they were going to be used as an education thing. I don't know. I made an assumption. Is that true?
Yeah, I'm hoping so. I'm hoping people are going to find it. Somebody just sent me a chat message and I can't see them.
I can read that for you. It might be worth adding a similar one to Nonchalant Norris, but for product environment administrator and developers, which has higher impact to any organization.
Who said that, Peter?
It's Rustam.
Okay, good. So when you create your card, I'd like to see that one. That would be great. All right.
I think the motivation also, the emotional, being emotionally manipulated, like fear or whatever it might be, that would be one of their things.
Agreed.
I'm the victim. I'm always the victim.
All right.
Also, what I'm just thinking of is if you have similar cards of different, let's say, levels of skill, they could get at a later point different values, right? So like there's a rare version of an insider and there's a common insider like Nonchalant Norris, for example.
Ooh,
Nice.
Then you're more in the trading card, collectible card games.
Yeah, I like
thing
that.
with rarities. Yeah.
Nice. Bjorn, I loved it when you jumped into the game because you changed the whole dynamic. Everybody was talking about personas, and you said, well, can I do my app? And I thought this was a very cool idea. Why don't you walk through this?
Yeah, on my first attempt, I just tried to put the juice shop in as a card, and then I saw the other cards, and they were all actual adversaries. So I tried to think of a way to make the juice shop project adversarial. And the best way I could think of to use the juice shop in a bad way is if you use it as a copy paste template for your own web shop, right? For your own e-commerce application.
Yeah.
So and then I made up some methods. So the juice shop actually tries to be mostly realistic, so people could actually use it as a template. It abuses social media very much. So there's always silly tweets and things claiming that the juice shop would actually be real. And I think one person actually fell for it and actually retweeted one of my coupon codes for the juice shop on some serious channel. Yeah. So and it's not really serious in general, the juice shop. Yeah. The tools. Yeah. It's totally incompliant with everything you would learn from the OWASP Top 10. Has its built-in vulnerabilities, which of course you don't want to have in your real application, so you shouldn't copy it. And it's very easy to retheme, so you can make it look like your own application, and it fits really well into your own corporate design. Actually, there's one session in the summit about doing these rethemings for the juice shop. So if you're interested in that, join that session, but don't use it then as a real prod environment.
You know, I didn't pick up on that when I was looking at the card at first, Bjorn, but if people got what he just said, is somebody could actually take this on purpose and put it up as their shop.
Yeah, they could. I hope people would still realize, but yeah. But technically they could. Yeah, the targets obviously are copy and paste developers. I wanted to write Stack Overflow developers, but that would be too mean, I think. Cost-aware IT managers who don't want to develop anything for their own money, so they just take whatever is available. And the juice box sales is just for Mark, basically, because he's I think on purpose always saying it wrong. Yeah, and motivation, Juice Shop wants to be the e-commerce platform. Actually, we want to have more Twitter followers than Zap. Right now, Zap has 8,000 more than we do, and we want 10 million Docker image pulls, and we are just at 4.1 million right now. So that's why we want to be the template for all e-commerce applications.
Can we get feedback on this? What do you guys think about this being one of the cards in the set?
I think it opens opportunities to create more and different perspective, maybe narrower personas.
Yeah.
It definitely represents out-of-the-box thinking and gives an opportunity to start thinking about different ways that things can be attacked and not just keep it to the set of actors.
I like that. Whoever said that. I can't see the names coming up, but I like that. I think that when I saw this and I realized what it was, one of the things I started thinking is, could every project in OWASP have its own card? Would that be kind of cool? And look at it as an adversary card itself. If you could take that project and use it and learn from it, what kind of things would you have? So I appreciate this. A very, very great contribution on this one. This one is from a friend of mine, Joel Olison, who is SharePoint. And so I wrote to my SharePoint community and said, look, I don't have any SharePoint adversaries. And so he said, well, you don't think Edward Snowden was an adversary? I said, well, I don't personally see him as an adversary, but this is Ed the Iceman, the insider threat. And that's where this one came from, is that the methodology is somebody that's on the inside who becomes disenfranchised with what's going on. So there's techniques that they can use inside to get at the information. Then how do they extract the information and how do they move it out? And then the targets, the ones that we know of, the big ones were the NSA and the spy agencies and the CIA. And the motivation behind it, I mean, you could almost put social conscience on here if you thought about it as a motivation, because that's the real reason he did it. Questions, comments on this card? All right.
I like it. It actually fits in with what we're doing. It's interesting. I mean, NSA, CIA are only two. I mean, if we want to have a little bit of fun, we could go through some more of the more interesting alphabet soup agencies that are probably doing more surveillance than those guys are. But we can leave it. Those are the well-known ones.
All right. All right, cool. All right. So
Actually, no, sorry. You know what? Do me a favor. Go back to that one for a minute, Mark. What's our audience for these? Because no. Yeah, that one. We're not protecting U.S. citizens. I would argue if our audience for DevSecOps is global, we're protecting citizens' rights. Or actually, not even protect, just motivation is citizens' rights.
nice.
To me, that's more than just U.S. by far and away.
Yes. Nice. Okay. So let's kind of take a mental break here. I just need some feedback in general. Is the project on the right track? Do we have something here that you think people would want to participate and play around with?
Definitely.
yeah,
If
most
there's a game
definitely.
behind it. Oh, yeah, if there's a game behind it, definitely.
Yeah, we've got that coming. We're doing in phases here. Let me talk about phases so you know where we are here. The first phase is actually the generation of the personas, generation of the cards. And then we can distribute them digitally through PDF or whatever format that Frederick and I are going to talk about later this week. And then what we want to do in the second phase is actually to have them printed so that when we go to conferences, when we go to meetups, they're actually like the old bubblegum packs. They've got 5 cards in them. You hand them out the cellophane wrap, you go and everybody just trades them and collects what you want. That's the second phase. The third phase is actually to build a board game out of it, whether you have a full software development pipeline, whether you have a social pipeline, whatever kind of pipelines we need, and figure out a way to play the cards against the pipeline. That's the ideas that have come up. Chris, you and I haven't talked about this at all in depth, but I think that, you know, the way that you and I work on the back channel together, we could create a game of some kind on this.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's, you know, you can have some fun with this between if we can color code them or even do like what I would love to see on this as well is adversary versus defense, and to some degree almost have a top trumps type of thing as well. I mean, there's so many different ways you can do this.
Yeah.
The other one I want to do this, and again, you and I haven't had a chance to talk on this, the work I'm doing with Wiser. So I'm doing a bunch of stuff with the Wiser crew on like end user awareness training and just crazy shit like this, where you can give out cards and show people cards and you can demonstrate this. And like, okay, this week we're going to talk about how would you defend against SANDWORM? How would you defend against fast food ninja? What traits and things would you see that will counteract this? Something like that would be freaking awesome.
Maybe you could actually have you could get different boards, and these boards could be applications, networks, distributed networks, so that you could have almost like a purple team with the cards in a network, but it's all sort of board game related. Is that making any sense? I'm picturing it in my head, but I don't think I'm verbalizing it very well. So you could basically threat model like a large scale application or a large scale international, like a big, you know, like when you're a kid, if you're a boy, your mum gets you those, or you go to nursery and they've got those really shitty carpets that have got like cars and shit on them. Like that.
Nice.
Yeah, I like that idea. There's actually there's a tabletop. Somebody was telling me there's a tabletop board game out there at the moment. There's a tabletop board game out there at the moment that is all about literally doing tabletop exercises. I haven't had a chance to mess with it. But again, for me, I would take this into a tabletop. So we talk about training and effective uses of training and how a tabletop exercise is much more effective than a freaking pen test for the most part in helping people come together. But I would love to come into a tabletop exercise, shuffle the deck and go, and we're going to go up against this adversary, and this adversary. How are you going to know what's going on? What are you going to do? What's going to tell you? What people, process, and technology is going to help you? This is freaking invaluable for doing something like that.
If we can get the attributes right,
Yes.
I mean, really
But
dig
even
in.
if they're
and
not
really,
right, even if they're only close to, I mean, nothing's ever going to be perfect on this. And quite honestly, when we release this, there'll be people that'll be like, "This is freaking amazing," and there'll be people that are like, "I just had some dickhead on LinkedIn just hit me up and say, oh, you're an arsehole. You put 2 feet in your you put 2 feet in your mouth." I'm like, screw you. You can't please everybody all the time.
Get that all the time.
you know, there's 10% of the people you can please all the time. There's 10% you can never please, no matter what you did. If you gave them ice cream every day for free, I'm looking at the 80%.
Yeah,
I'm trying
and
to
I think
get
this hits that 80%. And even if it doesn't, we have the ability to manipulate it a bit. I love the idea, and this is why getting all this group together is fantastic.
Excellent. Let me show you where I'm headed with this next then. I'm going to close down this part, the adversary cards. Does everybody know Carolyn Wong? She does the OWASP Top 10 teaching on LinkedIn. Very, very good friend. I know anybody that goes to RSA knows her. So what I started to do with Carolyn is to create the Top 10 adversary set. And so we're still playing around with the, Frederick, I put that one in for you. I don't know if anybody ever used the wings before.
That's freaking awesome. I love that. Oh God, I want that character.
This right here is the final boss.
Yeah, exactly. That's freaking awesome.
So you guys will have all of the attributes. About 10 minutes, we're going to start creating our own cards. And so you can actually go and literally in a matter of 3 to 5 minutes, create one of these characters for yourself. So all of the components are there to do. So what I did is I laid out all 10 of the cards to match up in order with the OWASP Top 10. And so if anybody wants to work on that project with me and Carolyn, I'm going to share my screen just for a second here, make sure I don't have anything weird showing. There we go. So we have a matrix set up so that people can go in and actually put the attributes into the list like this. Okay, so let me know you can reach me, and I'm going to put this in the chat room now. I'm going to stop sharing so we can actually have a discussion here. I'm in the chat room now.
Mark, yeah.
Yes.
I was going to say there are 2 really good suggestions in the chat.
Okay.
One from Fred. He says we could add a quote for each persona, giving an insight into their personality or approach.
Ooh, good.
Wow. Yeah.
Which might be optional on each card, or if something jumps out, it would be really good to have. And James also has a great suggestion saying defender cards as well, although from an advisory perspective, they're probably adverse too.
I think that's what Chris was saying too. Chris, you're in agreement with that. We need defender cards.
Mm-hmm.
I think so. I think they would be fantastic. Again, back to almost the top trumps-esque, training, teaching, blue team, red team shenanigans. I think it'd be fantastic to do something like that.
Great. Okay, a couple things. You're going to have to be in the chat room now in Zoom to make all this work. Number one, that's my email address there, that you can reach me as we're going through this process. So I'm going to put my first, shoot, I didn't put it up there yet. Hold on, I thought I had. Here is the way you create an adversary. I'm going to put a link in the chat room. There it is now. If everybody will click on that, I'll go and I'll click on mine too. So if you...
Hey, just a heads up, I apologize. I'm going to have to dash off. I wanted to hit this first part. I will dash off. Mark, you and I will just catch up afterwards if you're okay with it, and I'll just beat my way through as many of these as I can possibly help with and add where I can on these, if that's okay.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much for stopping in. Appreciate it.
Totally. Thanks to everybody. This is freaking awesome. I love seeing this come together. Mark, you just are freaking amazing.
Well, I don't see my DevSecOpoly board behind you, but that's okay. All right, see you later.
Will do.
All right, everybody, when you go to here,
You can't see the link. I think you might have posted in chat, but to somebody rather than everyone.
Let me see. I said, I sent it to Brian. There we go. That'll help. Brian's not even here anymore, I think. There you go. How's that?
That is good.
Okay. So when you click on that, what will happen is you will be taken to a form that asks you for the attributes that you saw on the back of the cards. So first of all, you're going to need an email address, because in order for us to match up your character, the cartoon character that we're going to create for your profile, we're going to need the exact same email address. So use something real here that you're going to have access to so that we can match them up. So put your email address in. Give me your name, which would be nice. You can name your adversary right now if you'd like. And I will use that as the name at the top of the card. Got 25 characters. And you can, before we hit the submit button, you can go back and change all this. So put some placeholders to keep you going here. What's your adversary type? And think about, you're probably making some notes or thinking as you were watching the first 10 cards, what type of adversary are you going to create? And that's what goes at the top of the card for the adversary type. Now we get to the stuff that really is the educational part. If somebody is trying to attack you, if an adversary is trying to attack you with the persona you're defining, what are the 3 top forms, the three top methods of entry that they would try to get into your system? So you've got 28 characters each on those. There will be a pop-up warning if you go over whatever it is, what, 84 characters, something like that. So think about the methods of entry. Same thing goes for the favorite tools. Now, I'm not pushing you here, I'm just running through them so people can fly through if they want to and create multiple ones. 3 favorite tools, and you saw what the discussion, a lot of the discussion was around tools today, which is cool. That means that I had missed something, it was too generic and we needed to be more specific on the tools. Typical targets. We saw mobile targets, we saw drive-by targets, we saw social targets. If your adversary is going after something, they're going after a bank, let's say, are they going after credit cards? Are they going after account numbers? Or are they going after social security numbers? What's a typical target that they're trying to get? And then the motivation at the end. Right. And then would you allow us to publish those either digitally or printed if your card gets selected for the deck? So if anybody gets done, let me know when you're done and I'll get you going on the next phase of the process. Which is the fun part. Fred, do you want to drive the character creator? Let me, let's let a couple people get finished first, and then you can talk them through the character creator.
Sounds good.
Ignore the helicopters behind me. I live in New York City and things are cranking up again. All right, anybody near finished? Oh, thinking too hard. All right, let's do one more minute here. And then you can always send me a note at that mark.miller@owasp.org, and we can change the attributes after you see the card laid out. So just get the basic framework in there. Eliza, how long did it take you? Did you just kind of bang yours out? Because you had about 3 of them when I looked.
Sorry, one moment. Sorry.
No, that's okay.
I had to put myself on mute and sort the dog out because she was being a bit crazy. I'm so sorry. I heard my name, so I thought I'd jump back on.
No, that's okay. I was asking, how long did it take you? You created 3 adversaries really quickly one evening. Was it that easy?
Yeah. I created really easy ones, though, to be fair. There was no research involved because it was all common. The ones I've created are pretty common.
Oh, good. So James has his in, and Rostam has his in. Great. So I'm going to post another link in the chat room, and this is going to be the fun part. So hold on. We're going to have you actually create your character that goes on the card.
Ooh.
So the charactercreator.org is in the chat room now. Just cut and paste that. And what happens is Fred has set this up so that you can create your character, you download it as an SVG file, and you send it to me, and I put it on the card.
You can also, if you don't want to bother downloading it, you can copy the URL because your choices will be appear in the hash of the URL. So you can also copy paste the URL, and anyone who pastes that into the site, into the browser, will generate the same character in their browser too.
Oh, that might be easier. That might be much easier.
Yeah,
cool.
You can avoid attachments with that.
Okay. So Fred, you want to share your screen and walk people through a slow demo of how to use the character creator?
Sure. Let me just check how I can. I haven't shared my screen on Zoom yet. Figure this out.
If you mouse over Zoom at the bottom of the screen, there'll be a little TV.
Okay, here we go.
There you go.
Okay, basic, advanced. How do I do that?
If it doesn't let you, I might make you, let me just go and make you a co-host.
Ah, okay.
Oh, I think it's giving me an option of which browser, which application to share.
Then you're set to go.
Jonathan, we have not passed out the cards yet, so you didn't miss anything on it. So let's, Fred is showing his screen if you'd like to watch him. He can do one of these demos in 30 or 40 seconds. So first of all, you're going to start out, choose a male or female character, and then Fred, I'll let you take it from there.
Yep, that's the idea. So basically just choose one of the silhouettes to get started. And you have a choice of skin color, which you can always change later on. But you can get started here. And you get a first menu appearing on the left, so you can choose different sections. So it auto zooms depending on what you're working on. And once you've chosen a section, you have these options on the right here. So you can basically choose which head type you want. And you can always click on an item and to be able to change the items. Or as you go along, you don't always have to go through the menus. You can also click there. So here we go, big cigar. And if you want to change the color of the skin to get these funky colors like Mark had for some characters, you just go here, there's a color menu, and you can play here. Color menu, when there's multiple colors, it can get a little bit funky. It's still a work in progress, but you'll see that most things work as expected. There's also some hidden items, like if I get this type of hair, I can go into the controls and I can do a sex change. And some items are only available after a sex change like that, like the hair. I think this one's...
that's interesting. Yeah, because I was wondering, there's some characteristics in the female. I'm sorry, Deirdre, you said not shared yet. What does that mean, Didar? Oh, you were answering in the chat room.
Yeah, Jonathan was asking if the ones you walked us through was shared here, but I said not shared yet.
Okay, great. So good, Frederick. I didn't know that one of the things I had seen is there are attributes that are available in one character type but not the other. But you can change character types on the fly and it will keep those attributes. That's interesting.
Not all of them, but I'm trying to add as many as possible to make it interesting and at the same time to keep the menu lightweight. So things that are mostly associated with one gender will be in that menu, but some of them can be, some of them are available as files, but you have to go through the sex change to get them. It's sort of an Easter egg.
Excellent.
So, and yeah, you can change the body type to, you can basically, if you click on the body, you'll get these body types. I don't have different body shapes yet. That's one common thing I get asked because I'm going to need to redraw a lot of items. So that's on the to-do, but it's not yet available. But if you want to get like a cyborg or a vein type character, you have those available here. And yeah, here we go. So that's pretty much.
Let's put some pants on that guy.
All right, let's.
There we go. So when you're putting the attributes on, like he chooses a pair of pants, by default they're khaki gray like that, but you can choose, you can change them to any color you like.
Just select the pants. You can tell the pants are selected because the items are here in the right panel. Click on the color, and you have these two. This is funky, this part here. You have two different colors. Depending on, some items have multiple colors, so you can change each of those. This needs work. I'll be frank with you, it's not yet optimal. So if I change color, you can see that I'm changing the color of the little button, which is not what I want to do. So I select the other color here, and then I can go in and change the main color. So this will get fixed in the coming weeks. There we go. Got some belt here. Another thing I want to do is to be able to combine items from a similar category too. So jacket, you can have the open version.
Nice.
Got a watch here. I want to add digital watches too. So if you guys have ideas of items you'd like to see that aren't there, I'm very open to suggestion. Just email me with a picture and I'll add it to my to-do folder, and you'll eventually
Frederick, why don't you put, Frederick, can you put your, when you get out of this screen share, let's put your email address into the chat room so people have it.
My email, I'll just say it quickly, it's Frederick at charactercreator.org, but I'll paste it in it.
Great.
So that's pretty much the functionality. It's pretty straightforward. There's a GitHub link. So if you see bugs and you find it faster to fix it than emailing me, you can always do a pull request. Facebook is also a good way to message me. I reply pretty fast if I'm online too. And the download button here is once you've started selecting items, the download button will appear visible, and you can get a vector version, a vector file of your character. So you can open that in either Adobe Illustrator if you have it, or you can download Inkscape, which is open source, and you can open it in Inkscape and export it there.
Fred, if I can jump in there too, the SVG files also import perfectly into PowerPoint.
Oh, great.
That's where these cards are built. This whole set is in PowerPoint. All right. Also, please look at the URL, everybody, if you're following along. That's the URL you want to send me if you'd like to send me the URL for the character, or you can download the character and send that to me.
Right. And if you ever if there's a bug where you're trying to load a character and it freezes, just hit refresh and it will reload the same character and it will keep your choices. Like, for example, I'll hit refresh right now. See, this is what you'll see if you copy paste the URL. It'll figure out that the hash is there, and it won't wait for your choices. It'll go straight to loading the individual items for your character.
Excellent. Thank you, Fred.
My pleasure.
Let's see, is anybody working on their character now? Hello, hello?
Yes.
Can we watch you working on yours, Bjorn? Can you share your screen? Frederick, you're going to have to get out of your screen share.
Yep.
Yes, yes.
Okay, how do I get out of, okay, stop screen. Okay.
Stop sharing, there you go. Good, who wants to share? There we go.
I'll just put my email in here.
Oh, there we go. All right.
That's the Joe Ciso character. So he's only after certifications and compliance, and I think as a character type, I called him Paper Tiger King.
Nice. Very nice. Very nice. Excellent. So
I'll send you that one.
Good.
But I didn't have the time to add the properties and methods and everything yet, so that's just blanks at the moment.
Okay, as long as
that was not enough time for the character invention process for me.
Okay. Good. Anybody else have a character? Thanks for sharing that. Anybody, you want to close that down? Anybody else want to show us what they're working on?
I really like the random one that I got.
Oh, good. Let's see the random character. What came up?
I'm gonna share.
I'm going to duck out and take the dog for a walk before it gets too dark. So thanks,
all right,
guys.
Eliza, thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah.
These are awesome. See you when I see you. Bye,
yes,
guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Let's see. Can you click on that face? I got to get a close up of that face.
Yeah, the beards are not adjusting to the emotions yet. That's something that's in progress too. So if you have a beard, you might have to choose an emotion that doesn't have the mouth.
Interesting.
But we'll get that fixed. We'll get that fixed soon too.
So, and I had to play around with this for a bit. The emotions are great. I had to play around with this for a bit too, just reminding that scarf color can be other than red. If you're not enamored with red, just click on it and change the color. There we go. There you go.
Oh.
Same thing with the skin tone. There, that matches skin tone nicely there. There we go.
Yeah, skin tone's fine.
Okay, there we go. Frederick, other than the shoulder pads, is there anything that fits on the outside of the coat?
I have buttons that are coming in, but they're not on the site yet. I can actually push those today if I
okay.
Yeah, I should do that actually.
Right. So you just send me that URL and I can, as long as it's the same email address, you give me the email address that aligns with the persona that you built, I can put the two together and create a card. All right.
I'm going to share my email address with you as well. The one I put on the form. This character really matches that.
Ah, okay. So I will cut and paste that. Excellent. Anybody else getting near the end of their character creator? Adam, good. Waiting for that screen to come up.
Okay, can you see this?
I cannot. It's the screen is still black, Adam. There it is. Got it. Got.
Wow.
Can you click on the scarf and it'll blow up and we can get closer into the details?
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay.
Excellent. Excellent.
There's
and
also,
what was the, what's the name of your what's the name of your character?
Anna.
There we go.
Her name is Anna.
Let me see. Did I get a Hannah here? Oh, there we go. Got a nice. Good, good, good. So Digital Fork, is that who that is?
No.
Oh, because I see a character you created called Digital Fork.
Oh, yes, yes.
All right. Good, 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 good. We've got 9 new cards. That's wonderful. Okay. Good, so you can play around. Anybody else still playing around and want to show what they're working on? Alexis, did you create one? I think she's gone.
I should be able to send one over in just a moment here.
Oh, great. So Adam, make sure you send me that URL, or else, create a new character and send me a fresh URL so I can align it with your card.
Okay.
So Frederick, you see here what we're trying to do. This is the process that you and I are going to talk through for automation, what it would take to automate the process we're going through right here. I don't think it's going to be that hard based upon what you've already done.
It's all things that are very doable. Yeah, a few questions on the text. We're going to use SVG text, or we're going to find another way. But those are just fun details that we're going to get to along the way. Yeah.
Great. Sean, welcome. I see you just showed up.
Thank you.
I'm sharing the links with him.
You said that we can. You said we can adjust the information later.
Yes, you can adjust the information. You just send it to me. I'll send you a prototype of the card, a mock-up of the card, and then you can kind of tweak out the attributes after you see how they lay out.
Perfect.
Okay. You want to share your screen, Wallaby, so we can see what your character looks like? Let's see, Darren, I've got yours. Very cool.
I dropped the character on the chat here.
All right, great. Oh, nice.
Simple, basic, professional.
All right. Let's see, if you don't mind, I'm going to share that one so that everybody can see it. Just so that they can see what people are working on.
The link didn't take the pants. I think I have to add the part with the pants.
Oh, you got, yeah, is that a bolo tie? I didn't know you had bolo ties.
Yep, that's been there.
You said the pants went away?
Yeah. If the eyes popping out is a bug, if you click on change emotions and come back, they'll probably pop in right.
Yeah, I had that problem when I built a couple cards. The eyes came out blank, just white.
That's masking. I'm doing SVG masking, and there's a weird thing with I have to do it at a certain time. I can't do it too quickly, so I have a set timeout on the masking, but I have to figure that out still.
All right. Good. Let's see. Rostam has one. Let's see what he's got. Production PITA. PITA. Sharing the screen. Let's see what we got here. Microphone. All right, good. Let's see how this turns out. All right, so I go to the head. You can see there, that's what we got. And the character is, what's the character name? Do we have the character name yet on this?
Yeah, that's Production PITA.
Right. PITA, what does that stand for? All right. Good, good, good. Let's get out of that. So that's the process. You are welcome to submit as many personas as you like. You have the links now. Create the persona. If you like, you can create the character first. Doesn't matter. I like to create the persona first to know whether I need to have an angry persona, whether it's a shocked, like who, me persona, like for the script kiddies, that kind of thing. So you might choose to do the persona attributes first or do the character creator first. It doesn't matter, whichever is best for you. All right. Alona, did you create one? Let's see, and Christine.
Hey guys, yeah, I'm working on it, but
okay,
time. So I've made the description, but yeah, working on the actual character here.
Okay, so let's do just 5 more minutes in general. That's pretty much the session. You saw the cards that I have. You've heard about the purpose of the deck. If you'd like to contribute more, if you'd like, please share the links. Share the link to the forum so people can create the persona, then share the link to the character creator so that they can actually create a character. If I get what I have done for the first set, I just had people create the persona. And then I would actually create the characters, because between Frederick and I, we can go in and create a character in 3 to 4 minutes. I thought it'd be fun so that you could see the whole process. I guess to summarize and kind of fill it out, what do you think? Have we got something here? Is this something that you think people will participate in? And you can have all microphones open here. It's just an open discussion.
I think so. And once we upload the video to YouTube, you can give that to people so people understand the process.
Mm-hmm. Frederick, with what you saw here today, would you change anything on what you're doing?
What do you mean, would I change anything?
Just in general, you heard the discussion here. You saw people create some characters and things. I mean, your platform is solid. I've been using it for a month now, so we know that the platform works.
Yeah.
Is there anything, as everybody was playing with the platform, any comments for Frederick on things that you would like to see? How's that?
Maybe
Oh,
polo
there's
shirts.
pain in the ass. Walby, go ahead.
Maybe polo shirts.
Polo shirts. Yeah, yeah.
Adding
one of the things
logos on your T-shirt, that would be awesome.
That, you know what, that's a big one, Bjorn, because I was thinking about actually doing that.
Yeah.
Taking and putting a real logo on shirts.
But that bears the risk that people use it for advertisement more than for the actual purpose of the game, I guess, right? But it would be cool to have the Juice Shop logo, of course, on the fool's cap, right?
We could definitely do that, and especially if we do something together, Mark, we can have a white label version that we customize for the purpose. Yeah.
That's an interesting concept, because if I was in your place, that would be something that I would sell as a premium on your Patreon account, is to put the label on. It'd be, I know I thought of it immediately when I started doing this. Good. Let's see, Sean, haven't heard from you. You doing okay, or what's going on with you?
Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm just starting to figure out the ins and outs of the UI. It's pretty cool.
Thank you.
Well, you're looking at the guy who created. That's who Frederick is.
Good job.
Thank you. Thank you. There's still a lot of things I want to improve. I have a lot of ideas for the
typical engineer. Never done. Never done.
You can also, if you want to save your characters and have multiple characters, you can create an account, and you can save those characters and come back to the account later and load them and edit them later on.
Here, if you look at my screen, I'm going to log in, and I'll show you what he's talking about here. So I've got a whole raft of characters. So these are the characters that fit into the cards. So if I want to go add the Iceman, I can come in, and I've had this happen several times, Frederick, where nothing comes up.
That's a bug because I think the skin color didn't load there. Okay, I'll look into that. There's also, if you see any issues like that, don't be afraid to log an issue in the GitHub.
Okay, let's see if I can get the Juice Shop to pop up. Yeah, so none of the, when I go into the characters that I've saved, none of them are coming up.
Try refreshing the page, maybe.
I did, but I will do it again.
We DDoSed you.
I guess so.
Okay, I'll fix that. I'll make sure that's fixed for next time.
Yeah, it would, like when I sent you my URL, Frederick, it didn't work when you put it in. I had to send you the character itself that I had saved, the SVG.
Right. That's right.
So
Still
something's going on with the saving of this.
Yeah, we'll fix that.
So people that have sent me, let's see if I can do this here. Let me get back to here. People that have sent me the, I would be in Zoom. I don't know if you can see my Zoom or not. Forget it. But people who have sent me the URL, it actually works. So sending the URL works, but the saving the character doesn't work consistently.
I'll fix that this week. Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Good. So I'm going to stop sharing, and I have. There you go. Excellent. For those of you that don't know, in the bottom right-hand corner of Zoom in the chat room, you can actually save the chat as a text if there's links in here that you want to save, which is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to save the chat. And it will show up in your Zoom folder on your hard drive. That's it for me. Thank you so much for joining. I hope it was fun. And I really look forward to more contributions, because as I see it playing out now with the way people interacted, I think there's a real educational opportunity here. And that's the whole focus of this project. So please jump in, add personas and characters as you wish, and I'll just build the deck. And then when I see you in person, I'll hand you a card.
Okay.
All right?
I have
Thank you
a
so
question
much.
for you. Are you going to expand this to other OWASP projects?
Expand it to other OWASP projects. In
Like
what
you're
way?
doing the top 10. Are you going to do ASVS stuff for cards? It's not going to be adversaries, but
That would be wonderful if you'd like to do that.
If you can somehow twist it to become adversarial, that would be even better, I guess, right? So like OWASP ZEP, for example, or a badly configured dependency check or something, that could be worse than not doing it at all.
What do you guys think about, isn't that the Defender card? We have Adversary and Defender cards.
I really like that.
yeah, I think so. That's a good
Defender cards are really
that,
good.
that way you can have a game.
Okay, then Bidar, when you do that, set, just let me know that you're doing it, and I'll create a template for Defender cards. So we'll have Adversary and Defender cards.
I didn't really volunteer to because the one I said ASVS is quite huge.
Well, maybe Andrew will do it. Andrew's sitting at home. Maybe he can do it, and he knows it inside out. So good.
But if we advertise this enough in the community, in the Slack channel, there might be people who want to help.
Somebody was talking in the background. Who was that?
Mark, I was saying, are you gonna be able to share that template? Because then we can actually get more of the community to do those things also.
I'm going to share it, Dennis, as Fred and I are working on automating it, so that the templates are going to be available through automation.
Yep.
Also, what was that email to send them to as we adjust them later?
mark.miller@owasp.org. It's in the chat room. Whoop, I just did it privately again. It keeps popping back to private. Sorry about that. All right. Rostam, thank you for joining us very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Thanks for your time.
There's my email address. And like I said, I've got 9 new cards set up. If I don't see a character come through, I will create a character for your card, and we'll actually give you full attribution on the back where it says contributed by. All right. Thank you. Bitter, thank you so much for inviting me. Dennis, thanks for inviting me. Very much enjoyed it. I hope it's going to be a useful project. Sure.
It was really fun.
Yeah,
thanks.
Good.
All right. We'll see you guys later. Thank you.
See you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, bye.